When was the last time? When was the last time Norv Turner
Somebody said about us digging through
in
data
the
that I print out the whole internet. Yep.
NFL? The NFL. When was the last time? I'm seeing 2012.
No, that's not right. That might be the last time he was a head coach.
Yeah, maybe.
I think it was with the Raiders when was he with the Raiders?
We're gonna look this up. We're gonna try to.
He was a offensive coordinator for Carolina in 2018 and 2019.
Okay.
They ranked, let's see, offense. They were 10th in yards in 2018, 14th in scoring, then 19th and 20th. He was the OC in Minnesota for 3 years. Their offenses were not very good in those 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
The last time Norv Turner had a top 10 offense in yards and points was 2011.
Okay.
Jim Harbaugh's first year with the 49ers was the last time Norv Turner was the coach for a top 10 offense.
Hey, look, I get bringing in a guy who is a seasoned veteran and might be able to solidify some things.
Sure.
But, I mean, again, Norv Turner hasn't been in the game for 5 years.
Right.
And he's 72 years old, and, I good luck with that. I mean,
sure, man. Yeah.
Okay.
This reminds me of, I'm trying to think of the NBA team that is on the fringe of contention, but you don't really know. And then they add a 36-year-old washed up star.
Or they go and sign Larry Brown to coach their team.
Right.
Yeah.
Or here we go. Perfect example. The Milwaukee Bucks last year, halfway through the year, say, okay, Adrian Griffin, you're done. Let's go get Doc Rivers. Man, what? This is kind of what that reminds me of.
It kind of reminds me of this time, too, when there was a guy who was in the booth and that called NFL games for a long, long time after being a really good head coach, and he hadn't coached in the NFL for I don't know, a decade. And then the Raiders decided to hire him as their head coach, and John Gruden.
I didn't think Gruden was that bad. I mean, not a great guy, but
I'm just saying he hadn't coached in the NFL for 10 years, and sure, he'd been on telecasts, but
yeah, I don't
fool me once. I'm just saying.
I don't expect maybe they know that Norv Turner can organize an offense and has been a head coach before, has been an OC in the last half decade, and they want to see what it looks like with a proven NFL coach as the OC, maybe. I don't know, man.
Okay.
But the Raiders stand pat at the deadline. The 49ers just ahead of the trade deadline at 12:58 p.m. yesterday. It was reported that they traded for a defensive lineman from the Texans named Khalil Davis.
Mm-hmm.
And they traded something that I've never seen traded before. It's like the second lowest thing that you can trade for a player. And that was a future 7th round pick.
It's almost like they offered to a 7th round pick swap.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
right. They said, we'll take him in your 7th. And the Texans said, what if we just give you him and get a future 7th?
Yes.
Man. All right. I guess.
Okay.
So, look, we talked about this quite a bit yesterday, and we talked about this a few times leading up to the deadline. I didn't think the 49ers were going to make a big trade. I did not foresee a massive deal for them. Just because I think they've got an eye toward the future, even if they don't want to admit it. They want to try to win a Super Bowl this year, but they're justifying the lack of trade deadline activity by going, well, Christian McCaffrey's coming back. Mm-hmm. Juwan Jennings is coming back. Jake Moody, John Feliciano, that's offensive line depth. They're going to get your kicker back. Christian McCaffrey, offensive player of the year. Juwan Jennings was really good in week 3 when Deebo Samuel was out. Yeah, no, this is a good feeling good about this. Okay. But baked into the fact that they didn't even want to get involved for trades that involved 5th or 6th round picks. Baked into that, for me, is the fact that they are looking at their draft capital in the future as necessary to rebuilding whatever the next version of the 49ers is.
Yeah, I would agree with you. And the fact that they had already lost a 5th round pick in this coming draft for their financial snafu.
Yeah.
That comes into play. It does, And hey, let's be honest. They were able to go out and get to Sean Gibson, and that will save everything. So, they're able to add the safety help they needed at the trade deadline without having to trade anything for it.
Yes.
No, I'm
yeah, so I don't know, man. Like we said it yesterday. A rotational defensive tackle. Like, does it help them? Like, yeah, for sure. But Khalil Davis is not some like star in the or diamond in the rough.
Yeah.
Like Malik Collins has been really good. They got Malik Collins for a 7th round pick from the Texans. And when they traded him, Doug Farrar, my buddy who covers the NFL for a few different sites. He's written books on the NFL. He was kind of like, wait, he was available for a 7th? Like, he's a really good player. Nobody's saying that about Khalil Davis.
Yeah.
He's going to come in. He's going to be a rotational defensive tackle. He doesn't move the needle on whether the 49ers are going to win the Super Bowl or not. That's going to come down to Brock Purdy and Christian McCaffrey and the stars they already have.
Yep.
So
I think at the end of the day, though, you needed depth. At least you got something.
Yeah.
I mean, at least he can slow the run.
Mm-hmm.
He's a big dude. Although he wasn't used against the run in Texas, right? So.
Yeah, I mean, he's just he is the definition of a rotational defensive tackle.
Yeah. He's just a big dude that you throw out there and, maybe
good athlete.
Yeah.
But I'm fine. I'm in the same boat with the Niners. They're in that tier of team that, like, yeah, maybe they go make a run, but I got to see it first. Their next 4 weeks are gonna really define them.
Yeah.
That's at Tampa Bay, home against Seattle, at Green Bay, at Buffalo.
I'm just surprised that Kerry Hyder wasn't available and they didn't just go get him.
That's a great pull, Kerry Hyder. Nice,
why didn't they just go grab him and
trade
throw him
for
on
Jordan Willis and
call
it good? Jordan Willis a free agent. I don't think they would. Anyways, that's where the 49ers are at. They play Tampa Bay this weekend. Raiders stand pat as well as they continue whatever it is they're doing. Trying to compete, trying to tank. I'm not totally sure.
Whatever it is they're doing.
But they're there.
I'm hoping Emmitt Smith comes out of retirement to run for Norv Turner. They got this.
Let's shift gears to the NBA. We'll talk more NFL later in the week. A couple of NBA notes before we get to this Kings schedule stuff that I want to get into with you. So it was originally reported that Greg Popovich was going to miss some time because of a health issue. And it now sounds like it might be something a little more serious than he came down with like a minor illness and he's going to be out a week.
No, this sounds like he had a major incident.
Yeah.
That's while they were prepping for the game, I think on Saturday.
Yeah.
And like, we don't know what's happening here fully. We do know that like the assistant that stepped in has talked to Greg Popovich. And so, we know that Popovich is able to speak to people and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, I think we're going to find out in the coming days, weeks, that this might have been a lot more serious than what we thought. And again, thoughts up for Greg Popovich, who, look, he's the greatest coach that we've seen. He's the greatest coach of our generation. You can throw Phil Jackson in there. There's some other guys that have been really good coaches, but Popovich is the all-time winningest coach in NBA history. He's got 5 championships.
Man. He's
done it all in a small market. Like, their record up until like 5 years ago was just impeccable.
Yep.
And so really. He's a good dude. I've been in a ton of scrums with him. He makes you better as a reporter. You make a mistake with Greg Popovich, he makes you pay. And you know exactly what his players feel like when you're done with a media scrum with him. So really hoping that he has a speedy recovery and, hopefully he gets back out there.
Greg Popovich became the Spurs coach midway through the 96-97 season. In 97-98, they lose in the Western Conference semis. They won the finals the next year. Shortened year, 50 games. They didn't miss the playoffs until the 2019-2020 season.
Up until that point, just so you know, in the 42 years the Spurs were in the NBA, they missed the playoffs like 4 times total.
Yeah, so that time, you're right, that Greg Popovich's first year when he took over as the interim coach, and they went 20-62 and got Tim Duncan. No big deal.
Well, the previous
was
time
the-
they missed.
That was the fourth time that they'd missed the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the previous time they missed the playoffs, they got David Robinson with the first pick.
Yes.
Yeah.
88-89.
Yeah, they're good at getting that first pick. That especially when it's a franchise-changing,
Ridiculous.
altering superstar big man.
Ridiculous.
Victor Wembanyama.
You know what's crazy about Greg Popovich and the Spurs? Forgetting the Victor Wembanyama element to this for a minute, and we're gonna have to we'll push the Kings schedule stuff. The most games the Spurs have won in their last 5 years is 34. They lost in the first round in the 2018-19 playoffs. Then 32-39, 33-39, 34-48, and then 22-60 the last 2 years.
Okay.
There was still every time you play the Spurs, it's like, hey, you might lose this one.
Yep.
You saw the Kings last year. You're at home. Had a really, really tough game against the Spurs.
Yeah, I mean, didn't he beat the Kings with Doug McDermott and like one of the Champagnes?
Yeah, and Trey Jones' brother.
Oh, the other Jones?
Yes.
Yeah.
Trey Jones? Trey Jones.
Yeah, Trey Jones. Yeah, there
Who's
you go.
oh my God.
Tyus Jones.
Tyus Jones. Thank you.
Yeah.
Tyus Jones' brother.
Yeah.
Trey Jones.
Trey Jones.
He was out there doing stuff.
Yeah, they can beat you. Like Popovich is a great coach.
He's just
a
gangster, dude.
They just play hard and they understand the game, and that's so like look, I wish him the best. I've had
Shouts out to
nothing
him
but
for
like
sure.
great conversations with him over the years.
Yep. That's the general consensus from people who've covered the league for a long time. Again, salute to Greg Popovich, and he has our well wishes for sure. Another NBA piece of news: Joel Embiid has received a 3-game suspension for shoving a reporter. I'm a little bit surprised it was only 3 games. I don't know the exact. The thing is, I don't know the exact nature of the altercation.
Yeah, I think DeMarcus got a 1-game suspension for his altercation in the locker room.
That he did,
but there was never no one touched anybody.
Physical, right? And
it was just a 6'11" dude leaning over the top of like a smaller dude yelling at him.
Yeah. And Raja Bell put this perfectly on the Real Ones podcast on the Ringer. He was like, "Where's Sixers PR in this?" Because Sixers PR, what needs to happen there is they go to the reporter because he's a columnist.
Yeah.
Say, "Hey, why are you here? What's your goal today?" And he's gonna go, "Oh, I'm gonna talk to Joel about this thing I wrote." And they're gonna go, "Great, don't do that. You stay here." And then they go to Joel and they say, "Hey, Marcus Hayes is here. Do he wants to chat with you? Do you want to talk to him?"
Yep.
And he's either gonna go tell him to go away.
Yep.
And then the Sixers go to him and go, "Hey, no." Or Joel says, "Yeah, bring him here." And PR and team security and everybody is there while this goes down.
Yeah, I mean, even
they should not have gotten face-to-face without a mediator.
No. Even the DeMarcus Cousins thing, you can see that Chris Clark is standing right next to DeMarcus. Garrett Temple is over his other shoulder. Everyone was ready in case things got out of hand at all.
Right. And it got loud. Did not get physical.
No.
So
it was a barking dog.
Yeah. So Joel Embiid suspended for 3 games for the Philadelphia 76ers for his altercation with a Philadelphia Inquirer columnist.
Yeah.
Right. James Ham there. Kyle Madsen here. Jiffy Lube Omnipresent. They are the sponsor. And the Raptors visiting Golden One Center to take on the Kings tonight. Toronto 2-6 on the year. Of course, one of their wins coming last week against the Kings. This weekend. No? Yeah, this weekend. Saturday.
Last weekend.
Saturday against the Kings in overtime. They're 2-6. They've beaten Philly, the shorthanded Sixers. No Joel Embiid, no Paul George. They beat the Kings in OT. They've lost to Cleveland, Minnesota, Denver twice, Charlotte, and the Lakers. That's a tough schedule out the gate for Toronto.
Yeah, it is tough. It's not like, oh my gosh.
No, it's not a gauntlet of contenders necessarily, but no. Denver, that's a tough game.
And they barely lost.
Minnesota's a tough game. Cleveland is obviously maybe the toughest game in the league right now. Lakers not a pushover.
No, the Lakers, well, they've become a pushover.
Kings.
They weren't a pushover. They were really good. They went 3-0 out of the gate, and then they're 1-3. So, yeah, they've had some struggles.
So the Raptors, speaking of their early schedule, are on the second game of a 4-game road trip. They had Denver a couple nights ago. They lost that game. Then they have Sacramento, the Clippers, the Lakers, and then Milwaukee to begin their in-season tournament. I am expecting tonight Because look, the Raptors are banged up. We'll get to the injury report here in a minute. They're if you're a Raptors fan, this is probably a fun team though.
Mm-hmm.
I think they've got some exciting young players and reasons to be excited if you're a Raptors fan. Like they're trying night in and night out. And you probably feel good about the direction they're heading, especially once Emmanuel quickly comes back, and especially when Scotty Barnes, the face of the league, comes back. All that said, I'm expecting a super motivated version of the Kings tonight.
Yes.
Given that the Raptors just beat them in Toronto in overtime. And I'm expecting maybe the most locked-in version of the Kings we've seen all year.
You would hope so. Like, look, the excuses, I don't want to hear them. Like, all of these things about, like, the first game back after a road trip, I don't want to hear that at all.
Suck it up.
You're playing a bad team that's missing their best player who wasn't considered a good team when they had their best player.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to go out there and on your home floor, you need to protect your home floor. This team has not been a great home court advantage team. They need to find that. The old Kings in the early 2000s, they were incredible on their home court. They didn't lose on their home court. I mean, there was a time where the Kings lost 42 consecutive games on the road in the 1990s, in the early 1990s.
That's insane.
And they still won 26 to 28 games a season. So, like, that's where you got to figure out how to win.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, tough.
It needs to. You're right. It needs to be one of those things. It's like, yeah, the Kings at home, they're gonna go 31-10 at home, or something along those lines.
30 wins at home would be amazing.
Yes,
but that is not what the Kings have done over the last couple of years.
Yeah, what are they? 23-18 2 years ago at home, and then last year 24-17.
23-18. So just so you know, they were 25-16 on the road.
Right.
They had a better road record than a home record when they won 48 games.
2 more home wins last year than, or 2 more home wins than road wins last year.
Yeah.
Come on. I'm with you, man. I get the first game back after a long road trip. Yeah, it's tough. Like everybody said, that is not a Kings specific thing. That is every team in the league. But listen to, you don't have to do this. Bob Fitzgerald brings it up all the time.
Yeah.
Anytime the Warriors, there's a first turnover. It's first game back. Long road trip. I don't care, dude.
Nope.
If you're going to be good, maybe slow start. Okay. Yeah. 24-24 after the first quarter. Fine. But at some point you got to lock in. I don't expect it. I'd be way more, I'd be way more worried about tonight if the Kings had mollywopped Toronto in Toronto. If the Kings had just beat them by 25.
Yeah.
I'd be more worried about, can't toss your jersey on the court tonight.
Nope.
But I really think that loss against Toronto woke them up a little bit. And I don't think there will be a problem with motivation, taking them seriously. I'm expecting a very good version of the Kings tonight. Like you just said, if you lose this one, I think you got a little bit of a problem.
Yeah, I would agree. You were going to start questioning your toughness early on, your mental toughness early on, like that you can't have continued slip ups. This is a moment where you can prove that. Again, the last one was just a scheduling loss, and you still made it go to. You took them to overtime, but it was a scheduling loss.
Yeah,
this one is one where it's like you're at home. There is no you're out of excuses. Go out there and play well, and beat a bad team.
Yep, I think that's what it's about. I'm hoping that's what they're viewing this as too, and not leaning on. It's first game back at home. I don't think they are. Would really hate that a lot though.
Yeah.
Really, really hate that. Starters for the Kings tonight: De'Aaron Fox, DeMar DeRozan, Keegan Murray, Domantas Sabonis. Are we plugging in Kevin Huerter for now?
We're plugging in Kevin Huerter. He's questionable, but I'm going to guess that we're talking like 3 or 4 days into an illness, 4 days, 5 days into an illness. I'd be surprised if he didn't play, but if not, Keon Ellis is clearly going to be the starter.
Okay, that was going to be a mess. There's no messing around with Mike Brown, right? Like
no,
because he started Doug McDermott in Toronto.
Yeah, just a one game.
Right, and then started Keon Ellis in Miami. That was good enough from Keon Ellis to just be the guy. There's not going to be let's see what Trey Lyles looks like. Let's see what this lineup looks like. Like, no, Keon Ellis is the starter at the 2 when Kevin Huerter is not.
I think that is how we're going to see this thing play out.
I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so too.
I got questions if it's not.
I like watching Keon Ellis play basketball.
Yeah, good player.
I do. He's fun. He brings energy.
He's the freaking guy that the Kings would play against, and that player would make 6 plays during the game. You'd look at their box score and not be impressed, but go, God, that guy got to like 3 loose balls. He had that big steal. He had a big-time 3, played great defense down the stretch. The Kings need that guy, and they have one.
Every team
Keon's that dude.
Like
I love him.
I call them catalyst players. They need guys like that. In baseball, it's the guy that does all the dirty work, steals some bases, great fielder.
It's the 4th or 5th outfielder.
Or the Adam Rosaleses of the world.
Sure.
The
utility guys.
They can play like 7 different positions, and every once in a while when you're getting bombed by 14 runs, you throw them out there and they pitch 2. And you're like, okay, whatever, man. You're that guy.
You're in. Shout out to Keon Ellis. I would assume he starts if Kevin Huerter can't go. We'll get to the injury report here in a second. For the Raptors, Davion Mitchell, Grady Dick, Oshai Agbaji, RJ Barrett, and Jakob Poeltl, the starting 5.
Same starting 5 we saw before. Emmanuel Quickly is on the mend, but he's not there yet, and against Scotty Barnes.
Yeah, so let's get to the injury report, because that's where the Raptors get interesting. Kevin Huerter still questionable with an illness, like you mentioned. No Devin Carter, no Orlando Robinson. They're both still out. We should find out pretty quickly if Kevin Huerter is going to play or not.
Yeah, I think we might even see like in the next 45 minutes because shoot around will happen.
Yeah. For the Raptors, no Scotty Barnes. Stand by.
Scotty Barnes.
Thank you. Face of the league. No Bruce Brown.
I forgot Bruce Brown was still there.
No Kelly Olynyk.
Yep.
And Emmanuel Quickly is doubtful.
Yeah.
Again, you said this earlier, even if they had Scotty Barnes, still not a great team.
Mm-hmm.
And even if they still had all these guys, you're still not going, oh, that's a playoff team in Toronto. But that is a much tougher version of the Raptors with Scotty Barnes, Kelly Olynyk, Emmanuel Quickly, and Bruce Brown.
Yeah.
Those are all bona fide, legitimate NBA players who can impact games.
Well, that and all of them have one ingredient that would really play well against the Kings. They're all physical.
Yep.
Like Emmanuel Quickly is one of the most physical like guards you're going to find, but Olynyk, Bruce Brown, I mean, all of these guys, long, athletic, Olynyk is not athletic, but at least he's
tall and can shoot it.
But he's a big, strong guy that's the type of player that usually does really well against Sabonis. It's the stocky guys.
Yeah. I think he'd be great next to Sabonis.
Or like as Sabonis' backup.
Yeah.
He can pass.
Yeah, you can pass it a little bit. You'll see that tonight, or you'll see that when he plays. They'll run the offense through him, just kind of in the high post and let him work.
Yeah.
Again, he's not great at it. He's fine, but yeah, man, I'm interested, and that's why I think if you're a Raptors fan right now, this is why I was in on the Pistons. The Pistons have a bunch of young dudes, and then they plugged in a bunch of veterans around them, probably to eventually trade them, but also to go, hey, go play on a real NBA team.
Mm-hmm.
Not going to be a good NBA team, but go play with NBA players. Tim Hardaway Jr., Tobias Harris, guys who have been around. You're going to go out there, Cade. Go out there, Jaden Ivey, Jalen Duren. Go play with a legitimate NBA player, and let's see how this goes.
Yeah.
I think that's what the Raptors could be doing, but instead they're running a bunch of their young guys out there because their 4 best players are hurt. Their best 5, maybe.
I'd also say, like, the thing about Toronto, they don't ever want to be horrible because I think they're always worried about, like, being in Canada and like having the focus be on hockey and on baseball and other things right there. I mean, the baseball stadium, you could throw a rock and hit the baseball stadium from the basketball stadium.
Yeah.
So they always do things that are kind of surprising. They go out and get a player that you're like, why did you go trade for Olynyk at the deadline?
Yeah.
Which is what they did last year. Little strange. They don't want to be horrible.
No, and I frankly, I think they're probably a smart enough organization to not be horrible.
Yeah.
Like when they're rebuilding, we talk about like the Hawks or the Blazers where you're going, what's happening here?
Mm-hmm.
What are the Jazz? What's going on here? What direction are you going? I think Toronto's always going to have a direction. And I expect that direction to be losing to the Kings tonight.
There it is.
We'll have plenty more on this. We'll have matchups of the game. We'll have keys to the game a little bit later. Plenty of Kings talk coming up here on ESPN 1320. We are sponsored by Jiffy Lube. That's James Ham. I'm Kyle Madsen. We'll be back in a second on ESPN 1320 Sacramento Sports Center. We're clear.
Sorry, I pushed this a little bit late.
No, that was on purpose. Our live is next segment, by the way, or next break.
Next break. Okay.
Next break.
Can I fill up my coffee?
Yeah, of course you can.
Cool.
You've got 2.5 minutes. All right, I'll be quick. Oh. Hang on, Chatty. I'll be right there. Hey, what's good, Chatty Gang? How are we? One thing we should be looking forward to today. Wait, what do you mean? Yeah, well, yeah, pull up to Sky River. 10 a.m. on Monday, November 11th. Oh, hell yeah. My cousin got to go on the new Tiana ride, and I'm very, very jealous. Oh, hell yeah. Shout out, Mrs. Max. Salute. Good morning, by the way. It's fine. I'm going to be on the Chatty House after party tonight.
What?
Yeah. It's going to be party time.
After the game? Before the game?
They're going to be on during the fourth quarter, I believe. I will be on at some point after the game. Maybe before. I don't know. It depends on how much I have to drink.
The Sacramento Kings have assigned Colby Jones to the Stockton Kings.
Son of a
nutcracker.
Well, that's funny. Knock it off, though. 8 p.m. tonight. Chatty House after party. Pull up. Right here at youtube.com/ESPN1320. I read need wings, and I was like, hey, dog, same. Maybe I'll hit a Wingstop for lunch. And then I realized Jalen was talking about the Kings.
Wings sound good right now.
What's that, dog? All right, here we go.
Now, back to the Insiders with James Ham and Kyle Madsen, brought to you by Jiffy Lube on ESPN 1320.
Our guy Jay in the Chatty House, youtube.com/ESPN1320. Wants to know how the Colby Jones fan club's looking. Not great. We're down pretty bad right now.
Membership is low.
Membership is rapidly declining.
Oh,
hey, we're gone. Yeah, Colby Jones reassigned to Stockton. Correct?
Yeah, I mean, this is
normal. It's not an indictment on Colby Jones. Look.
Was he reassigned? Was he brought back? Hang on.
I might have misheard you.
Oh, no. He was assigned to the Stockton Kings.
Okay.
I don't remember when he was brought back to the Kings. I didn't think he was on the trip with them, but then he was because
He's
there
wearing a
was
starter's jersey.
someone thought he might start. Yeah.
Isaac Jones, Colby Jones, and
The internet sleuths with
somebody else.
their watching of shoot around
Well,
footage.
You're wearing the right color jersey.
Just
We're going to have
saying.
questions.
Yeah.
The Colby Jones fan club down bad. We talked about this during the preseason. The development arc that I thought he would catch, he has not caught. It's taking a little longer than usual. It's fine.
Well, what he really, really needs is another season of playing a ton at the G League level.
Yeah.
He does. He just needs more experience. So hopefully he figures it out. Good dude.
Fingers crossed. Shout out to Colby Jones. The fan club will always have one member. That's me. I'll always be here.
Way cheaper to make swag.
Just be me hanging out.
I need to order fan club hats and shirts. How many? One of each.
Just one. Sir, this is a bulk order site.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm buying a lot of items, but just for me. We'll do some NBA stock up, stock down. I just want to kind of bounce around the league. We love talking basketball here, so I want to take a look at the league and figure out kind of who's doing well, who's not, who's about where we thought they would be. But while we were doing some research today, I was jumping into the Kings schedule and I was trying to map out where the schedule got tough. Because you start looking at the first 4 games, and they're 7 games, and they're 4-3. With losses to Minnesota and the Lakers and Toronto in OT up in Toronto on the second night of a back-to-back. And it's like, man, if Portland's in here, Utah, Atlanta, Toronto, they've got Toronto again. And I started looking. So through their first 17 games, and I stopped at 17 for a reason. We'll get to it. Through their first 17 games, the teams that I believe are going to make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So this could vary depending on how you feel about certain teams. I think Minnesota is going to be a top 6 team in the West.
Yes.
The Kings play them twice. That's 2 of their first 17 games against teams I think are going to make the playoffs. I think that the Suns are going to make the playoffs.
Okay.
They play them twice.
Yeah, they play them game 10 and then again game 12.
That's 4 games against teams I think are going to make the playoffs in their first 17, and then that's it. You can throw Miami in there if you think the East is weak and you think that Miami will be a top 6 seed. That's fine. We'll call it 5.
Okay. And I think you could make an argument out there that if Kawhi comes back, that the Clippers could make the playoffs. And they play the Clippers twice. But I'm not banking on the Clippers being a playoff team.
Okay, I agree with you. We're not going to see Kawhi in those 2 games, though.
No, it's very
So
true.
you're going to see a version of the Clippers that I don't believe will make the playoffs.
Okay.
Maybe by the end of the year they do and whatever.
Okay.
But that's like 5 games out of their first 17.
It's pretty
against
wild.
Teams that I think are going to finish in the top 6 in their conference, in either conference. So here's my first question. Just we'll dig further into this in a minute. But who has a better record after 17 games, the 49ers or the Kings? The 49ers are 4-4 after 8.
I'm going to say the Kings.
I think so too.
Yeah, I don't know. Can the Niners get to 10-7?
That's where I've got them. I've got the Niners at 10-7.
Okay. Then I'm going to guess.
The Kings would have to go.
I think the Kings can go 11-6. They can even go a little bit better than that.
Yeah, they would have to go to match that. They'd have to go 6-4,
Okay.
which I think they can do because their next 10 starting tonight. Toronto, the Clippers at Golden 1, at Phoenix, at the Spurs, home Phoenix, home Minnesota, home Jazz, home Hawks, at Clippers, home Nets. Like just taking the teams, like let's leave out the Toronto should be a W, yes?
Yep.
Okay. Jazz, Hawks, Nets should all be W's. That's 4 right there.
Yep. And I'm not giving them any excuses. They have Minnesota on the 15th and a back-to-back with the Jazz on the 16th. Those are home and home back-to-backs. I don't care.
So that puts them at 4.
Mhm.
If you split with the Clippers, that gives you 5.
Okay.
And now you're at 9 wins. And then you split with the Suns, you're at 10.
Okay, and you had the Nets as part of that too?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah,
So
I mean,
think that means they need to handle business against the bad teams.
Mhm.
Just get a split with the Clippers, a split with the Suns, and then beat Minnesota. Or get 2 against the Clippers and lose to Minnesota and split with the Suns. Whatever. I believe the Kings are going to finish with a better record through 17 games than the 49ers.
I would agree with you.
Their path to 11 plus is just so much more clear. And maybe they face plant and they lose both to the Suns or they lose to Minnesota again. And again, we can reevaluate at that point. But again, we're projecting here. It's the goal of the bit. The 49ers, on the other hand, while we talk about the Kings having all these non-playoff teams, 49ers had the Buccaneers, banged up version of the Buccaneers, but took the Chiefs to overtime on Monday Night Football. The Seahawks, division game.
Okay.
Then at Green Bay, at Buffalo, in consecutive weeks, mind you. That Buffalo game on Sunday Night Football. Then home Chicago, home against the Rams, at Miami, home against Detroit, at Arizona.
Okay.
It'd be impressive to get to 10-7.
Yeah,
I mean 6-3 through that stretch.
I think there's the best case scenario is 7 wins. Just like going through it really quickly in my head, best case scenario is 7 wins, and I don't think that they get 7.
Yeah, I've got again, this is purposely. I don't. Let's do 7.
Okay.
So this is going to be purposely optimistic.
Okay.
Tampa Bay is a game you got to get.
Got it.
You also need to get all 3 of your division games.
Yep.
So that's 4. Chicago makes 5.
Yep.
And that means you have to win 2 of Green Bay, Buffalo, at Miami, and the Lions.
Okay. I think you can get 2 of those. I think you can split the Green Bay Buffalo series.
Okay.
And then I think you can get Miami. I mean, Miami's not good. Like
Jesse's
not in the room, but
they're way better with Tua though.
They're way better with Tua, but we're talking like 4 or 5 weeks from now. Who knows if Tua will be there and if
I'm
they
gonna
will be way
assume
better
Tua's there.
Okay.
For today, again, we're going off the version of the teams that we see now.
Yep.
I'm going to imagine Tua's there. That's not going to be an easy game in Miami.
But what are they like 2-7?
2-6.
2-6. Okay.
But again, a bunch of those games were without Tua. They just took Buffalo to the brink this weekend.
Well, that's true.
They beat Jacksonville. They got smoked by the Bills in week 2 of the season. That was when Tua got hurt. Then they lost to Seattle, lost to Tennessee. They beat New England. Then they had the bye week. They lost to the Colts. And then Tua came back against the Cardinals, right? Is that right? All right. Was Tua back against the Colts too? No, he wasn't.
No.
I believe he was back against the Cardinals though.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a path where you could tell me, hey, the Kings went 12-5 in their first 17 games. They went 8-2 through that 10-game stretch. All right. I'll buy that. Especially if you consider hey, they're starting to gel a little bit. They're starting to play a little better. They're starting to figure out how to close games.
Mm-hmm.
They're healthy. I could buy that way more than I buy the 49ers going 7-2.
Yeah, 7-2
their last 9.
Really tough.
That'd be.
Yeah, I mean that would make us all feel like they were potential contenders again.
I think I'd be really disappointed if the Kings were 10-7.
Oh no, I think so too.
Through 17 games.
Yeah, that would not be good. I mean, that would mean that you lose 4 games, and I don't know that there isn't 4 there that you should just write off as a loss.
Yeah, and if they do, it I don't know, because again, we just went through this with the game in Toronto and then the game in Miami. Mm-hmm. The game in Toronto, you're coming out and you're going, okay, it was the back-to-back, but boy, you'd still really like to beat Toronto without Scotty Barnes and Emmanuel Quickley and all those guys.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, you kind of, and then you go and you scrap out a win in Miami the way they did, and you win in a rock fight against a team that specializes in rock fights on their home court.
Yep.
You out-culture them on their home court.
That's right.
It's like, all right, they're back. So this is where it's tough. Are they 10-7 and they had a weird loss to the Spurs on the second night of a back-to-back, but they swept Phoenix, and they had a weird loss to the Jazz, but they beat Minnesota? You know, it kind of depends on how they get there. But overall, I would think if you're going 10-7 through your first 17 games, if you're the Kings, with so many winnable games on the schedule, that's it here. That's one of the things that would move me away from 51 wins. That's my prediction. I'm hell-bent on sticking to it. But if they're 10-7 after these 17 games, that's something that would make me go like, maybe it's more like 49.
Okay. I'm with you. Like, I'm looking at it's not just for me, the 17 games. I think it goes deeper than that. If we go down to the next 10 games, I think the Kings have, like, again, they're not.
The first 30 is insane.
Their first, like, half of the schedule is really soft, which is not a good thing.
So, okay, I agree with you on some, on a certain level. Where I push back, though, is when we were going through this today, I was going down, because you pointed out, I said, man, the first 17, you were like, 17, try 30. So I went down to the first 30. And then after the 30th game, they have Dallas, Philly. You expect Philly to be a little more healthy on January 1st.
Maybe.
Memphis, you expect them to continue kind of figuring it out, and at the very least being a tough game. Then you're at Golden State, home Miami, at Boston, at Chicago, at Milwaukee, Houston. It's like, okay, that's kind of a tough stretch. But at the same time, what I realized as we were going through the Kings schedule here is that they're in the tier of team now where they're just not going to be worse, like demonstrably, definitely worse than the team they're playing more than half a dozen times in a year.
Well, I mean, the only time that I think you can honestly look at the schedule and say you don't have a shot to win this game. There's only one team that, well, outside of what happened to the Pelicans last year, but the only other team that you look at and say, okay, I don't know how they beat that team is Boston. Outside of that, the case
for every team.
Well, yeah, but besides that, I think they have a shot against anyone.
Yeah, a shot for sure.
A shot, and I think you would bank on them beating more teams than, I don't know. There's a handful of teams that you're going to say, okay, that's a tough game.
Sure.
But I mean, even we can talk about like the Phoenix Suns. Like, they split with the Suns last year.
Yeah, but okay, that's a what do I want to call that? That's just like a tough game. But I think the Suns are circling the Kings on their schedule, and I don't think the Suns are going, okay, well, that's a soft part of the schedule with the Kings on it.
No.
And that's just what I noticed as I was going through this. Because even games 31 through 30, what is that, 9? As Dallas, Philly, Memphis, Golden State, Miami, Boston, potentially if Milwaukee figures it out, Houston, like, oh man, okay, that's it. But at the same time, that 9-game stretch, I'm not like, man, you'll take 5 and 4. No. You beat Dallas. You can beat Philly.
There is the road trip. The road trip is brutal, where you play at home against the Warriors, who are just playing really well right now. Then Nuggets, Knicks, Nets, Sixers, Thunder.
Oh, this is 41.
And then the T-Wolves to finish the trip. Like, I could see 1-5 or 2-4 in that stretch. That's the one stretch where you're like, oh, that's really, really tough.
Are we sure Denver's good?
We're not sure Denver's good,
okay.
and Denver is
we'll
now...
get to stock up, stock down in a bit.
They're teetering.
Spoiler alert,
now.
Denver's stock down for me.
Yeah.
Especially after the Aaron Gordon injury.
I would agree. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's... So that was the moral of the story when we were going through the Kings schedule today. Is they're not going to... It's not like they're going to be favored in every game. But there's just not that many teams in the league right now that I don't think with the Kings playing the way they are and playing the way I think they will be by January.
Yeah.
I don't think there's that many teams in the league that we're just going to go in and we're going to be like, man, I don't think, and there's going to be matchups, right? We're going to learn that maybe Memphis is just a really tough matchup for them. Or OKC, who I think is going to be a tough matchup for everybody, or whatever team it is. Maybe Minnesota just has their number this year. But they're not. They're one of the. Yeah, it's bearing itself out. They're still, to me, one of the 5 or 6 best teams in the West. And I think it's reflected when you look at their schedule.
Yep.
So we'll see how things shake out. Again, not making any sweeping declarations off of 7 games, but projecting out. You feel pretty good about where the Kings are at, even at 4-3, especially going into a game tonight, a winnable game an imminently winnable game against the Toronto Raptors. That's James Ham. I'm Kyle Madsen. Let's get into some stock up, stock down here on the Insiders. We're live with you every day at 10 a.m. right here on ESPN 1320, Sacramento's sports leader. Also want to remind you that you can subscribe to the podcast version of this show. Maybe you can't catch it all live, but wherever you get your podcast, it's the James Ham and Kyle Madsen show. They wouldn't allow us to call it the Insiders. So we went with the James Ham and Kyle Madsen show. We wanted just a little rift of originality and creativity in the name. So subscribe wherever you get your podcast. We would appreciate that. Even if you listen to the show every day, or maybe you're not a big podcast listener, go to your podcast app on your phone and just subscribe. Just help us out.
There you go.
We'd appreciate the heck out of that. All right, let's start with stock up. I have on my list here that I have carefully curated. I have 6 teams whose stock is up through the first 7 or 8-ish games of the year.
Okay.
Number 1, I have the Cleveland Cavaliers. They're 8-0.
Yeah, they're the biggest stock up team in the league right now. Like
they look outstanding.
If you're buying stock, you're buying Cleveland Cavalier stock right now.
Yeah, it's not. I don't. The thing with Cleveland, I don't think it's going to get like worse for them.
I think it's just about like. I think what we have here is a perfect combination of players maturing.
Mm-hmm.
So Evan Mobley is starting to come into his own. Jared Allen is really, really good center that people ignore, that they leave off their list of like really talented centers. But then you've got Donovan Mitchell, who isn't even playing out of his mind. I mean, he's averaging 23 points per game. He's only averaging 30 minutes a game. Like the way that they've beat teams is allowing them to grow and build a culture and build like a momentum without overextending themselves. Like this is a really, really good thing. They have so many players. They've got 14 players who have suited up in a game, but they have 10 players who are averaging 15 minutes or more.
Yeah.
And that's a really, really good way to grow a young team and sort of galvanize it early. I think the Kings, like in comparison, are a veteran team. They're like a more veteran team, and what they're trying to do is trying to get things right with the core group and then expand. But when you can do what the Cavs are doing right now, not only winning, but winning and letting everybody see the floor. I mean, man, they're shooting 41.3% from 3.
Man,
you got guys like, like Karis LeVert shooting 52.4. Isaac Okoro is shooting 46.7 from 3.
And playing his ass off defensively.
Yeah, he's incredible defensively. You expect that. But to have him like going out there, Sam Merrill.
Sure.
I mean, Kings legend, Sam Merrill out there on 5.1 attempts per game is shooting 39% from 3. Like, this is a really, really good team.
The Cavs right now are according to Basketball Reference, according to our data, second in offensive rating.
Yep.
4th in defensive rating. They are 1st in effective field goal percentage. They're 7th in turnover percentage. And defensively, they are 9th in opponent effective field goal percentage, 3rd in turnover rate, and 8th in defensive rebounding rate. They're not a great offensive rebounding team. They're 27th in that category.
Yep.
But they just do everything really, really well. And one of the reasons I was down on them going into the year was Evan Mobley was not really figuring it out. You saw some flashes in the playoffs last year, but the Jared Allen, Evan Mobley thing was not really working out. The Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell thing was not really working out, where they have 4 talented players, and it seems like one of the bigs and one of the guards could be a thing, but 2 of the bigs with 2 of the guards can't be a thing. But Kenny Atkinson has stepped in there, and he's really, really made it work. Donovan Mitchell playing great. Darius Garland looks great. Evan Mobley playing some of the best basketball of his career. You've already talked about Jared Allen, how good of a player he is, and he just continues to be a really good player. They have Jared Allen averaging 1.4 blocks a game and Evan Mobley averaging 1.8.
Yeah, so I love those guys as a twin tower combo.
Yep.
I thought that they would be better off trading one of them this offseason. I wouldn't trade Mobley at all. But I thought that the Jared Allen for for Brandon Ingram trade.
That felt like a layup.
It felt just like an absolute easy, but hey, you're in Cleveland. It's tough to get a guy to resign on a big major contract. I just thought that would have made a lot of sense. At this point, I'm not moving anybody for anything. Like, you got a good thing happening.
Yeah, I feel great about Cleveland. They're 8-0. The other teams stock up. Somehow the Oklahoma City Thunder are stock up for me. They've been even better than I thought they would be. So I have Boston in the no movement category.
Yeah,
because they're 7-1. We talked 70 wins for Boston before the year. It's going to be really hard for Boston to go stock up.
Yeah,
it was already sky high.
I mean, if they're gonna win their first 32 games of the year, we'd be stock up, or 25 games. But we expect them to be great. And I'd even point out OKC, like they've had a little bit of injury issue. They've especially with their center
Isaiah Hartenstein.
Yeah, Hartenstein hasn't played.
Non-displaced fracture in his left hand.
Yeah. So they've even we're not even getting to see like who they're going to be.
Yeah.
But man, Chet Holmgren is.
I forgot that they Jalen Williams is also out for quite a while. J-Dub. J-Will?
Oh, the big man. The big
center.
man. Yeah.
He's gonna be out for a while. But like you said, it hasn't mattered.
No.
Because they're unbelievably deep.
Their top 7 players, all 7 are averaging over 1.1 steals per game.
Jesus. Do you know what their defensive rating is right now? Don't look if you're on their page.
I'm going to guess 96.
According to Basketball Reference, it's 93.4. They're allowing 93 points per 100 possessions.
That's crazy.
In the modern NBA, that's insane. I can't wait to see what that number ends up at.
Yeah, me too, because they're only going to get better defensively, but I don't know. They could have played a bunch of cupcakes. I haven't looked at their schedule. They're averaging 13.1 steals per game, which is by far the best in the NBA. I mean, the Kings were like 3rd at 10.3 or something. So they're averaging a full 3 steals more per game. Yeah, and their schedule hasn't been tough. I mean, let's be honest. They played the Nuggets to open the season, but Bulls, Hawks, Spurs, Blazers, Clippers, followed by the Orlando Magic without Paolo Banchero.
Yeah, I'm not putting OKC in the 70 win category, but all of the pieces just kind of fit exactly the way it looked like they were going to fit.
Yeah.
And I forgot they drafted Nikola Topic.
Oh, that's right.
He's out for the year. He has an ACL injury.
Yeah.
But still, you just look at what they have in the cupboard. It's like, my God, dude.
I know. It's a never-ending faucet.
The Kings are one of the teams that I think they could. Okay, Denver, for example. Aaron Gordon goes down, and you start looking around at Denver and going, hey, how did they replace him?
They don't.
I don't think that they have
Zeke Naji.
I don't think they have the personnel to withstand that kind of loss. If the Kings went, and this is to come back to the Thunder, who are dealing with some injury issues, and they've been fine because their depth is crazy. I think the Kings fall into that category too, where I think Domas going out for an extended period of time would be a pretty significant deal.
Oh yeah,
but Keegan Murray goes down. Like, yeah, that's a big deal. But we're not sitting here going, I don't know how the Kings win any games without Keegan. No, I'm looking at the Nuggets without Aaron Gordon and going, I don't know how they win any games without Aaron Gordon.
Yeah, that's tough because their depth is very, very thin.
Yeah.
I think that Keegan is my Trent Williams for the Kings, like because he's the guy who's defending everybody. So he's the one guy that I think. I mean, I think Sabonis is the biggest, right? Mm-hmm. Sabonis goes out, you're in trouble.
Yeah,
but I think number 2 is Keegan.
Interesting. I think I'd feel okay about the Kings without Keegan. I just think they have more clubs in their bag.
Yeah,
defensively, it's not going to look as good, obviously, but I think they could find a way to win games without him. Like, they have so many guys who can score the basketball that I think they'd be okay. It might look ugly.
Okay.
But I think they could get there.
Yeah, scoring-wise, they're going to be fine. Defensively, I would.
Have some questions.
Having
Denver, I saw Aaron Gordon is going to be out for a while. It's like, man, Denver is going to be in trouble.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're going to do.
And they were already not looking great.
Yeah. I don't know if you've watched a lot of Nuggets this year. It is so much Nikola Jokic. Like, it was already a lot of Jokic.
Yeah.
But it's like KCP standing in the corner isn't there anymore. So he's like, all right, fine. I'll just move out to the perimeter and shoot these threes.
Are they over Jokicing it?
We'll workshop that.
You can never have too much Jokic.
We'll workshop this.
All right.
No, it's good. No. Other stock ups we'll get to in a bit. We got several teams stock down. A lot of teams, no movement. Some teams stock down. We'll get to some other stock ups. We'll also get into the Kings and Raptors game. How do the Kings pull out a win tonight against the 2-6 Toronto Raptors? We'll tell you here on The Insider, sponsored by Jiffy Lube. James Ham there. I'm Kyle Madsen. We'll be back in a second here on ESPN 1320 and Sacramento Sports Leader. Yeah, it is November 6th. It is about to be holiday driving season, whether you're traveling for the holidays or you're driving around picking up Christmas presents or delivering Christmas presents or holiday presents, I should say, or maybe you're delivering holiday turkeys or hams. It's that time of year again where holiday shopping and driving with family and friends are going to become very, very prevalent in our lives. Jiffy Lube is your holiday driving headquarters. They got fast oil changes, wiper blades. Get those wiper blades changed. You're not going to think about it because it hasn't been raining. Go do it now. Go do it today. Put it on your list. I'm going to drop into Jiffy Lube. I'm going to get my windshield wipers changed. They'll do it for you.
Yeah.
Get you the right wipers. You're going to want those changed before, because that first rain's going to come and you're not going to have new wipers, and it's just going to smear the water on your windshield. That's terrible. I'm making a big deal out of this to remind myself to get into Jiffy Lube today. So with fast oil changes, wiper blades, light bulbs, and many more services, Jiffy Lube, that's your holiday driving headquarters.
Yeah, they've been serving the greater Sacramento area since 1984.
40 years, James.
Yeah, it's absolutely incredible. They're extremely thankful for all of their customers. They're open each morning, starting at 7:30, Monday through Saturday. Go in early, get your oil change, get your car inspected, make sure everything is good for those road trips.
Yeah, don't want to find out that you needed a car service during your road trip.
Nope.
That'll ruin the holiday.
Bad luck.
So get ready for the holiday driving season today. Visit jiffylube.com to find a location near you and valuable oil change coupons. That is jiffylube.com. We did it again. We're clear. Clear.
Lawless.
This sounds outstanding. I might go to the grocery store today to buy the things to make a quesadilla.
I might just go get a quesadilla like after the show. I don't know.
A little Taco Bell?
I don't know. There's a Chevy still right down the street. There's still a Chevy's. You can still.
Is it the only one? Is it next door to a Radio Shack?
I don't know. There it is right off of Douglas.
Hey, shout out to Norm.
There we go.
What's up, Loki?
Zabo says he has an extra one.
Oh, my man.
Oh, it's a chicken quesadilla.
Dude, pull up.
There it is.
Don't. I bought myself one. The quesadilla is the best thing you can order as part of a late night Taco Bell run.
Oh, that makes sense.
Because the quesadilla is like the extra thing that if, you've eaten whatever you usually eat, but then you have a quesadilla there. And the key with the quesadilla, the reason it's such a big deal is because maybe you're not hungry. The bottom line, it reheats the best. You can just throw it on the stove in a pan and just reheat it, and it heats up nice. Way harder to do with a burrito. Certainly you can't with a crunchy taco.
Bean burrito never tastes the same.
Never. It's just not going to be as good.
Yeah.
But with that quesadilla, whether you want it later that night or in the morning or the next day, throw that in a pan, it's going to reheat real nice.
Yeah, my youngest, if I'm on my way home, it's like, hey, I'm stopping by Taco Bell. You need anything? Yeah, give me 6 bean burritos with no onions. And I'm like, okay.
That's so many.
Well, no, he eats them over a 2-day period. He just he'll warm them up all the time and eat them. And I'm like, all right.
That's
yeah. He would do that every day if he just had a gigantic bag of Taco Bell bean burritos, he'd be down.
So they have a new type of it's not a double decker, it's like a layered taco or something that's double decker adjacent. I recommend that one, Jalen.
Now I'm
Huh.
hungry for Taco Bell.
Oh, that's kind of interesting. Oh, bro. Mexi Melts are back.
Hmm.
No, it doesn't. I think it's nacho cheese instead of refried beans. Yeah.
When I was a kid, they had the the Taco Bell Beefer, which was
That sounds
it was a hamburger.
heinous.
It was a hamburger made out of the taco meat. Yeah.
Oh, secret menu? That sounds, yeah, no, Drew, I'm with you. Yeah. Bell Beefer is crazy.
Yep.
Someone asked me for a Bell Beefer and we're fighting. All right. 10 seconds.
10 seconds.
Here we go. Hour number 2. That's James Ham. I'm Kyle Madsen. If you're listening on the radio or on the free Odyssey app, we salute you and we appreciate you immensely. Cannot tell you how thankful we are for you. If you're just watching on YouTube or Twitch, youtube.com/ESPN1320, twitch.tv/ESPN1320, we love and appreciate you as well. The Chatty House is unreal.
It is.
We're reminiscing on old Taco Bell items in the Chatty House right now. This is my favorite piece of content that's ever happened.
Is it? Like,
yes.
Okay, so
I'm so look, is Taco Bell great Mexican food? Obviously not. Like it very obviously it has its purpose in the sphere of fast food, and it is what it is. Everybody knows it. That's fine. If you don't like it, if you like a different if fast food spot better, if you don't like fast food, fine. But the folks who are just like, yeah, this is my order, but I remember when I used to order this, they need to bring back that. I'm having such a great time talking about Taco Bell. TALKO Bell. Taco Bell. I'm going to make a podcast.
I love Taco Bell. I got to be honest. Like there used to be like an old school Taco Bell on the other side of Douglas. So we're right down the street. So if you drove over the
It's not there anymore? It was the like old looking building?
Yeah, the old building. Yeah. So if you know where the Trader Joe's is right there, you just keep going right past that you stay on Douglas. It's right there on the right. I don't know what it is now, but yeah, it still looks like an old Taco Bell. Yeah. It was nice.
That's sick.
Yeah.
I would like the Taco Bell in my hometown. We'll have more Kings and NBA stuff coming up, I swear. The Taco Bell in my hometown has undergone like 3 makeovers.
Okay.
Because it used to look like an old one. And then they made it over so it had the like
cantina look,
2000s type of theme.
Oh, okay.
And now it has whatever their new, the cantina look, I think is kind of what they're going for now. I would lose my mind if they just went full throwback to like the brown and yellow colorway with their logo.
Totally.
Oh,
the big wavy Taco Bell look.
Yes.
Or just do the big
I
bell.
yearn for these days.
Yeah. You know what? Like an old Taco Bell menu item, which sometimes you can still get and sometimes you can't. An enchilada. Have you ever had an enchilada?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's good
Shout
stuff.
out to the enchilada. Shout out to everybody who enjoys Taco Bell. James Ham there. I'm Kyle Madsen. Subscribe to the James Ham and Kyle Madsen show wherever you get your podcast. That's this show. It just has a different title.
And you can hear about Taco Bell there.
And if you want to rehash this Taco Bell convo, you certainly can. Want to remind everybody as well, we are going to be live Monday, November 11th. We have our first ever live show out at Sky River Casino. We're going to be at 32 Brew Street inside Sky River, the first ever Insiders live show. We're going to be out there from 10 a.m. to noon. Then it'll be D'Lo and KC taking over from noon to 4. Sky River is allowing us to bring in new in the package socks or canned food. You're not usually allowed to do that, but they said, hey, we're dropping that rule just for you guys. We're going to have a canned food drive. We're going to be bringing in Socktober overtime. So those socks will then be donated to the Gathering Inn, which distributes them to the unhoused in the greater Sacramento area. So sports talk on a holiday. It's a holiday show, our holiday program on Veterans Day. Talking sports, having a great time, good food, good drinks, and it's all for a good cause with our canned food drive in Socktober overtime. See you out at 32 Brew Street inside Sky River Casino on Monday, November 11th, 10 a.m. Showtime. Fired up. All right. We've been doing NBA stock up, stock down. Other team stock ups for me. Brooklyn at 4-4. If you told me before the year, hey, or if you asked me before the year, when will Brooklyn get its 4th win? I'd have been like, middle of December.
Yeah, call me at Christmas.
Call me at Christmas. But Jordy Fernandez's Nets, very quietly, 4-4. My guy Cam Thomas.
Yeah.
Figuring it out.
Hey, they play hard. That's all you can ask,
That's it.
right? If you're a
That's
young
it.
team that doesn't have the talent and you're stuck with Ben Simmons on your roster, you just go out there and you play as hard as you can every single night. And Jordy's one of those coaches that has unlimited energy, and he's going to demand that they play hard. He brings culture, man. He's a very, very good coach.
So and Brooklyn's losses this year too. So they lost to the Hawks on opening night. They lost at Orlando a couple nights later. They beat Milwaukee by 13. They beat the Nuggets by 5 in overtime. They've beaten the Grizzlies twice, and they beat the Bulls. They did lose to my Pistons, but no shame in that.
Yeah.
So it's not like they're walking over a bunch of bad teams. Shout out to the Nets, man.
Yeah. I think that
stock up on them.
They're going to be a team that, probably wins 30, 32 games. But the fact that we can even put that in that conversation.
Oh, it's big time.
That's crazy.
Before the year, I had them in that like 20 win range.
Yeah.
Like maybe the worst team in the East.
Like the Cooper flag chase.
Yes.
Yeah,
and maybe they get
capture the flag.
Maybe they get there. Maybe at some point they say, okay, we're going to start sitting guys. But right now, dude.
Yeah.
It's not like the East is a gauntlet. Sitting at 4-4 after 8, you're thinking playoffs.
They're tied for 3rd in the East.
Come on. My Pistons stock up. They're 3-5. Shout out to my Pistons.
I'm with you.
3 of their last 4.
3-5 is for them. I don't know what that win percentage is. Well, I mean, I probably could do quick math in my head, but yeah, that's really good for them.
I will take it. They are. What did I say? They've won 3 of their last 4. Sorry, they've won 3 of their last 4. I said 4 of the last 5. And they don't have 4 wins on the year. That's fine.
True.
They beat the Sixers. They beat the Nets. They just beat the Lakers. Now they're at Charlotte tonight.
Uh-oh.
Watch out for my Pistons, man. The Suns at 6-1, stock up for me. I thought the Suns would be good this year. I did not think they'd be 6-1 through 7. And they look better than they did last year. And that to me is a stock up.
Yeah, I think it's interesting when you look at teams like the Suns that are older, that rely heavily on, guys like Kevin Durant, who's 36, and Bradley Beal, who's 31, but plays like a 46-year-old. Like when you're dealing with a team like that, even Yusuf Nurkic is 30. These are the teams that kind of like slow play their way to like 53, 54, 55 wins. That's what they feel like.
Mm-hmm.
So for them to come out and like sort of set the tenor of who they are right now is a good sign for them. And also, I knew this was going to happen, man. What I saw from Devin Booker, he was the one guy who I think was like taking it all in during the Olympics and figuring out how he can take what he does at the Olympics and bring it back to Phoenix and be a better player.
Yep.
And so I really think he's going to be really, really difficult to stop all year. I mean, he's going to be very good.
Yeah, the numbers are down a little bit, but figuring out how to impact winning.
Yeah.
That's just so vital. Like the small things, making the right play, maybe not being the guy who's going to go shoot it 20 times a game. He's still shooting it 18 times a night, 17.7 field goal attempts per game.
Yeah.
But I'm with you, man. The way he accepted his role in that, I think you learn so much about yourself as a player.
Yeah.
And so much about how to affect winning. And I think he's doing those things.
If we get to the All-Star break and he's averaging 24-7, 5.7 assists, 4 rebounds, he's an All-Star. Even with the shooting percentage,
sure.
If they're where they are now, if they're a 1, 2, 3 seed, yeah, he's an All-Star, along with Durant, and they're going to steal 2 of the All-Star spots.
Royce O'Neal shooting 46.7% from 3 this year.
Completely sustainable.
Totally sustainable. Bradley Beal, 43.8 on 6 attempts a night. He's played 5 of their 7 games.
I think the one guy who's kind of got pushed out there is Grayson Allen, who was so good last year. He's shooting 37.5%, but only on 4.8 3-point shots per game. He's averaging 9 points per game, but I thought he was really good. And I mean, he was great last year. He led the league at 46.1% on 5.9 3-point attempts per game. The one thing about Grayson Allen, and I put this in the other day with him, he is graying so bad. He's going to have Grayson Allen will be like a white-haired dude by next season.
Kind of love it for him.
Yeah. The salt and pepper look.
Yeah. Go
I
for it,
don't know
man.
what's happening.
And it's in his name, Grayson Allen.
Yeah, it's Gray, son. There it is.
Yeah, but he's playing 19 minutes a night. He was 33.5 minutes a night last year. I think if you're relying on Grayson Allen to start every game for you and play 33.5 minutes a night, you're probably not in a great spot. And I think we saw the Suns kind of maximize that last year. And he was awesome last year. Like you said, he shot 46.1% from 3, led the league, career high 13.5 points. But I think somewhere closer to like 25 minutes a night where he's coming off the bench is a more idealized role where you're now a little bit deeper for if you're Phoenix, you're now feeling better about your depth. And I think that's kind of where he's going to settle in for them.
Yeah. I saw him get a flagrant foul the other night.
Shocker.
A flagrant one. He tried to jump over somebody and then got like halfway, like jumping over the duck down near the rim. And so he just flung his knee up and kneed the dude in the back of the head. It was against the Sixers. It was Yabusele. He hit in the back of the head. And he's like, oh, man, he sat there rubbing his head for like 5 minutes. That really hurt.
Yeah. Even concussion protocol.
And Grayson Allen's a big dude. He's bulked up so he can play the 3 more this season.
And he's just throwing knees around. The last stock up team for me is the Warriors. They're 6-1. And it looks more like instead of a collection of 9th and 10th guys, they have figured out a way to work in 12 players
that are all number ones out of nowhere.
They won a couple of games without Steph Curry, which is stunning. They're 6-1. We'll see how that changes throughout the year. We'll see how that evolves, whether their 12-man rotation gets pared down to 8 for the playoffs if they get that far, or if they make a trade at some point to bring in somebody maybe a little more substantial. I don't know. But 6-1 for Golden State, where you miss Steph Curry for a couple of games, is pretty impressive.
It's bonkers. Buddy Hield is still at 21.9 points per game. He's shooting 50% from 3 on 9.4 shot attempts per game.
Cooking.
And he's only averaging 25.7 minutes.
Yeah, man.
Crazy.
Getting some open looks. All right, we'll have stock down, and we'll go through some of the teams that have not moved in the NBA stock market coming up in a bit. He's James. I'm Kyle. We are sponsored by Jiffy Lube. The Sacramento Kings are back in action tonight against the Toronto Raptors. 7:00 tip over at Golden One Center. The Kings coming off a 3-1 road trip, which is nice. I think you would have taken 3-1, maybe not mapped out exactly the way it went. You probably figure you're 3-0 and maybe drop that one in Miami. But you came out with a gritty win in Miami to get to 3-1. You said this in earlier when we were talking about Kings-Raptors. There's no excuse here.
No.
Tonight. I think that's the number one thing. First game back after a road trip. Okay, you get out to a little bit of a slow start, fine, forgivable. But you can't go to overtime with this team and lose again. I'm sorry. You get to do that once.
Yeah. This is not a high-quality basketball team right now. And even if they had all of their players, they're still a team that you wouldn't expect to be in playoff contention. I mean, they have some nice players, but their bench is half their starters are out. And what you can't do is have the same thing happen that happened last time. The Kings have this propensity to allow some random guy. We've already seen it this year with Garrison Matthews. We've already seen it with Pella Larson. Yeah, like
University of Arizona legend, apparently.
Yeah, we've already seen it. Like the Kings get busted up by players. You're like, who is that guy? What is happening?
seriously.
Can't let it happen again.
A team full of them here.
Mhm.
Team full of them here. What's your matchup of the game?
My matchup of the game, I'm gonna go Davion versus De'Aaron. I
It's a
just,
good one.
like these guys know each other really well. They practice against each other every day for years. And Davion is a great defender.
Yep.
He really is. And, if you can get Fox free on some switches and stuff, then you're going to be in good shape. And Fox is just a much bigger player. So he has the ability to leap up and go over the top of Davion. So
I was so impressed. Davion's going to be in the league for 10 years because of his defense. Like every team will take a guy, whether he develops offensively or not, I TBD. But there are going to be teams that will always take a player who can be a point of attack defender, and they'll fit him in however he fits in offensively.
Yeah, and I've always thought that Davion was just on the wrong team to start his career.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unfortunate for him, but he's got to improve as a shooter, right? He's shooting 26.5, but this is a player that has some skill, and he was kind of miscast in a West Coast style basketball as opposed to a slow down isolation East Coast basketball.
Yeah, man. And I mean, you saw the flashes last year with the Kings when he had some opportunities, but he definitely has to continue developing on that end. He had a defensive possession against DeMar DeRozan on Saturday that I was just blown away by.
Oh, yeah.
I thought DeMar was going to back him to within 6 feet of the basket and go up and score, and just nope. Davion did a really nice job.
Super strong.
Keegan Murray against RJ Barrett should be fun too.
Yeah, I think so.
RJ Barrett's a player that I don't want to say you don't worry about, because he's talented. But if the Raptors are going to be around and stick around in this game, it's going to be him doing a lot of the work.
Yeah, he's averaging 26.2 points and 7.8 assists per game this season. He's been really, really good.
Yeah, he's had the ball in his hands a lot.
Yeah, and he's still only 24.
Yeah, so I Keegan he's the guy who can defend RJ Barrett on this team, so he's going to see him a lot, I believe. What is as we get to our keys to victory, James, what is your first key to victory for the Sacramento Kings tonight when they take on the Toronto Raptors?
Yeah, my first key is punch first and don't stop punching.
Yeah, that's
this team is they're not great. They're gonna fight, and they have a personality, but you're a better team, and you need to go out and show them that you're the better team and really put pressure. I mean, again, they're 2-6 on the season. They've lost 5 of their last 6. They're just not great.
Not a game where you want to figure out how to close a game. You don't want to be just go let your starters get the fourth quarter off type of game, or maybe most of the fourth quarter off.
Yeah, this one should be decided by the 8-minute mark in the fourth.
Yep.
You should be able to okay, who's playing next?
Put this one away early. I love that. And don't let them get back into it if you do get ahead early.
Yep.
That's the other thing. Like you said, keep punching. Don't go up 15 and go, all right.
And
let
off the gas.
And then you look up and it's 6. Nope. Can't have that. Key number 1 for me, use the home crowd. I understand first game back after a road trip is tough. G1C, we know it's always going to be rocking. That's something that's where a home court advantage can come in. Man, you know what? Don't really have it tonight, but get some energy from that G1C crowd.
Yeah, I totally agree. And the Kings, they've already played 5 road games and only 2 home games. So you're 1-1 at home. This has got to be the season where you grow up and you have a better home record. Really, I know Alvin Gentry used to just scream about it. I don't understand how this team doesn't show up at home. But even in their best season, they won more games on the road than they did at home. You got to take care of it.
Is 46 wins over the last 2 years at home, right? Is that right?
Something like that, yeah.
22 2 years ago.
23 2 years ago.
On 24 last year, so 47.
Okay.
Got to be better.
Yeah, got to be better.
Number 2 for you. Man.
Yeah, you got to defend Grady Dick. This is the other guy that, again, just randomly just kept hitting shots against you. And the Kings have got a lot of problems defending the 3. You got to start cleaning it up. And this is one of those players coming in that Grady Dick is going to be a shooter for this team. Yep. So defend him early. whether it's Keon Ellis or it's Kevin Herter, whatever it is, just get out there and don't let him get loose.
He's in his second year. He is the number 13 pick from last year's draft. He is a player who they want to rely on.
Mm-hmm.
He is getting up 16 shots a night after getting 7.4 last year. He's getting up 7.5 threes a night at 38.3%. He is averaging 21.6 through their first 8 games.
Yeah.
You cannot you cannot let him get loose.
I agree.
I'm going to stop talking about this now.
Yeah.
Number 2 for me. I need Domas in attack mode, man. Took 10 shots in the last game against this team. Jakob Poeltl's fine. He should not be a center that Domas is avoiding going at.
Totally agree.
And whoever it is coming off the bench for them, same deal. I want to see Domas be aggressive, scoring the basketball. We know he's going to get his rebounds. Okay, he's going to dish out some assists. That's great. Don't rely on the 3-point shot. They went 10 of 40 against the Raptors in Toronto. Maybe those tired legs, second night of a back-to-back. Don't rely on the 3 then. Yeah. Go win in the paint, and I think Domas can do that. I'd like to see him in attack mode a little more. Go get me 15 or 16 shot attempts for Domas. Number 3.
Don't let Chris Boucher look like prime Kevin Durant. I mean, like at a certain point, you have to remind yourself the whole time, it's just Chris Boucher. It's just Chris Boucher. Like, I don't understand how there are these players in the league that do this to the Kings every single time. And again, like we've seen it over the last 3 games where a random dude just goes crazy. You just can't have it.
Chris Boucher, 31 years old, by the way.
Yeah.
He is almost 32. This season scored 18 in the season opener against Cleveland in a 30-point loss. Then he scores 4 in 3 consecutive games. Scored exactly 4 points. Then 13 against Charlotte. Then 9. 24 against the Kings. 24 points against Sacramento. He went 9 of 13. 9 shots is 3 more than he'd made in any other game this season. 13 is 3 more shots than he'd made at any other point this season. He made 4 out of 5 threes in the season opener. Going into the Kings game, he was 1 of 17 from 3, and then went 4 of 6 against the Kings.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
I don't want to look up tonight a career high. Like, is this going to be his career high tonight? Like if Jamal Sheed or Jonathan Mogby are going for a career high tonight,
We got a problem?
what is happening? What is happening?
Number 3 for me. Hey, maybe De'Aaron Fox don't go 0 for 11 from 3.
Yeah, that'd be a game changer.
I think that's a key for me.
Okay.
De'Aaron, I don't need him. This is not, and keep in mind, this is not De'Aaron make your threes. This is not that.
No.
I don't need De'Aaron Fox to go 5 of 7 from 3 or anything. If it's not falling though, go get to the mid-range, get into the paint.
I totally agree.
And like you said, maybe it was tired legs and they just got lazy offensively. I don't expect to see the same tonight. So De'Aaron Fox, if the 3's not going down, attack the paint.
Okay.
That's all.
I'm with you 100%. I will point out before we get out of here that there was a game at one point where Chris Boucher went 14 of 24 from the field, 3 of 7 from 3, and finished the game with 38 points and 19 rebounds. It was a few years ago. It was in 2021 against the Bulls.
What is this?
Chris Boucher had 38 and 19 in a game.
An NBA game?
So there is a possibility that Chris Boucher just like is a late bloomer or something. I don't know. But it can't just be against the Kings.
Exactly. Prediction, quickly.
Kings by 18.
I've got Kings 121, Raptors 104. 17.
So 17.
Nice. All right. Hell yeah. He's James Ham. I'm Kyle Madsen. We are sponsored by Jiffy Lube, and we're here on ESPN 1320 at Sacramento Sports Center. Clear. I've got to cut all this.
Sheed is pronounced like shed?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Jamal Shed?
Definitely, I did not catch that when you said it, but now that you've said it, that's definitely right.
My bad. Don't let him put up 24 points. How about that? Don't have someone take you to the shed. There it is.
Man, we just. Look at us go.
NBA guru Zach. Would I trade Kevin Huerter and a first for Herb Jones?
Oh my God. Yes.
Yeah, I mean it would be a lottery protected first.
I'm doing that without. I'm doing that.
You think?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I mean, but he does play center.
Yeah, he's a 5-position player.
I like their rookie. Their rookie's fun. Masai? Is that how you say it? Yeah. I mean, I like Herb Jones a lot. I would do that trade, but
He's fine. He'll be back.
who?
Herb Jones. Got a shoulder.
Well, that's what happens when you have to play center. When you're 6'5". You remember we looked this up and Herb Jones is way smaller than we thought he was.
Yeah, he's like 6'6".
They say he's 6'8". There's no way he's 6'8".
I always got the idea just watching him that Herb Jones was like a 6'10" guy.
Yeah. We looked
He's
it up
not.
though. NBA Anthro.
What? The game 916. Why do you say you're not doing that trade right now? Is it because Herb is hurt, or because you want to see what Kevin's doing for the offense? Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Herb Jones at the combine measured in at 6'6" without shoes. With a 7 and a 7'1/4" wingspan.
Oh, okay. It's 100% because he's hurt. All right, that's fine.
Oh.
I think he's going to be okay, though. He's diving for a loose ball, and I think it was Pajemski was also diving for the loose ball, and they just like landed on his shoulder weird. Yeah, I'm still not. I honestly I did not find the first episode that compelling. I've had a really hard time getting into it.
Me too. And I watch everything. Although I don't watch those types of
No.
shows.
Have you gotten into Drive to Survive yet?
No.
I think you'd like Drive to Survive.
I haven't. I did like Welcome to Wrexham. Like that was super fun. I watched the first season. I don't think I watched the second season. Bless you. But like every third episode was like a promo episode, and I just had to skip.
Oh. Anyone going to the game tonight? Oh, I'm going on Friday. I'll be there Friday.
You will?
Yeah.
Okay.
It might be a dip out at halftime night for me.
Yeah.
It's been a long week, but
I
got to get in there in the pregame presser and hold Mike's feet to the fire. Mike, stock up, stock down. Matt will be there Friday. Hell yeah.
Who?
All right. Hey, we'll do the Chatty House meetup thing again. I know it won't be as many people as last time, but I will for sure go to that spot on the concourse. I forget what entrance that is.
The main entrance.
The main entrance. 30 seconds.
And then we're all going to hang out on Monday.
And then we'll be there Monday, yeah. Or we'll be at Sky River.
Yeah.
Yeah, would love to see everybody out at Sky River, man. It's going to be a good time. I plan on basically being there all day. I'm going to stick around through D-Lo and KC. Might watch the Kings there. I think my wife is pulling up. My folks might be there.
Oh,
All right, here we go.
Now, back to the Insiders with James Ham and Kyle Madsen, brought to you by Jiffy Lube on ESPN 1320.
James Ham is right there. I'm here. I'm Kyle Madsen. We're sponsored by Jiffy Lube. We're hanging out with you till noon. The Handoff with Kenny Caraway coming up in about 10 minutes. We'll get his NBA stock ups and stock downs. Let's look at the Athletics NBA power rankings here.
yeah.
Good news for the Kings. Good signs for the Kings.
Yeah, I think it is a good sign for the Kings.
The Oak Grove Kia talk line is 916-909-1320, 916-909-1320 if you'd like to weigh in. Here are the teams for me that are stocked down right now. I've got the Knicks, who are 3-3.
Mm-hmm.
The Cavs are having the start to the year I thought the Knicks would have. Kinda.
Okay.
I didn't think the Knicks would be 8-0, but I thought they'd be red hot out of the gate.
I think we need to be fair, though, because if we're going to say that Minnesota, we're not going to, instantly think Minnesota's going to be good because of Julius Randle,
Mm-hmm.
then I think the Knicks, we also have to look at that and say, okay, first of all, they got Karl Anthony Towns right before camp.
That's fair.
And then secondly, to get Karl Anthony Towns, they had to give up their power forward and their starting shooting guard or 6-man of the year type candidate guy.
Okay.
And so they gave up a lot, and their bench is trashed because of it.
That's fair.
And there's no way to fix it. So maybe I'm being too nice on the Knicks, but
maybe I should have just been stocked down to start the year. You were stocked down on them to start the year, it sounds like that. I expected them to be better out the gate. They're 3-3.
I mean, I think they're okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Milwaukee Bucks, they're 1-6.
Oh, they're done.
They're a disaster. The Philadelphia 76ers are 1-5. Until I see Joel Embiid and Paul George playing together, they're going to be a stock down.
Yeah. I mean, they're in all kinds of mess, and now Embiid, once he's healthy, gets a 3-game suspension.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're going to say, oh, he's healthy, and then let him go out there and, I don't know what's going to happen there. But still, he's at least missing a few more games.
Yeah. The Orlando Magic are in my stock down because Paolo Banchero's out.
Such a bummer.
They're also 3-5.
Yeah.
And Paolo's out. They're 3-5 in part because Banchero got hurt. But
yeah,
until he comes back, I don't think they're a playoff team. So
they might be in the East just because the East is so rough. They might be able to hang around and then jump right back in.
Sure.
But we just don't know how long he's going to be out.
Yeah.
4 to 6 probably.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. We'll revisit this again later in the year for sure. Nuggets are stocked down for me. This is even before the Aaron Gordon injury. They're just so much of what made the Nuggets great was how relentless they were.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like Jokic. And that's it. And it's enough to get to 4-3. And if you've got to rely on one player, there's not that many players in the league I'd rather have to rely on than Nikola Jokic. But I just don't think the Nuggets are the juggernaut that they were at this point last year.
No. I think that they have
lost too many pieces.
Yeah, they have a major depth problem.
Mm-hmm.
And they've had to start Russell Westbrook in a game. Zeke Naji is going to be forced into action here. I don't think their depth was always a big question mark. And it wasn't even Aaron Gordon that you were worried about would get injured. It's Michael Porter. It's Murray. Jamal Murray is always hurt, and he's missed a couple of games. They're just
vibes
weird.
Are bad in Denver.
Yeah, vibes aren't great.
Yeah.
The
Pelicans are stocked down for me. They're a mess.
Oh,
They've got injury problems. They're losing to bad teams. I'm out on the Pelicans. The vibes were already down, and then DeJounte Murray got hurt, and I just I don't like whatever they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I think what the good thing is they're discovering some players. They're giving some guys an opportunity. Jordan Hawkins played really, really well, And he was good last year when he got an opportunity, but
Sure.
right now, he's shooting 37.5% from 3 on 7 attempts per game, averaging over 17 points, almost 18 points a game.
Great.
So maybe you find a couple of guys, but like it's just kind of a mess. And is it Ives Messi? Is that Eves?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's been fun.
Eve Messi, I believe.
Messi, yeah, he's been fun, and maybe they find something there.
Sure.
But I don't think that opportunity would have happened if it wasn't for the fact that Zion's only played 5 games, and Herb Jones has only played 4, and McCollum's only played 4, and you're relying on Brandon Ingram to play every night, and so now he's just sitting there like getting ready to make his money.
They had a game against Golden State where they were up 20. Zion and Brandon Ingram both went for 30, and the Warriors won by 18.
Whew. It's a bad look.
The state of the Pelicans, stock down. And then the Jazz. Not that I thought the Jazz were going to be any good, but they finally got their first win the other night. They're 1-6. They're just worse than I thought they were going to be.
Yeah, they're worst collection.
They're even more rudderless than they looked like to start the year.
Yeah, I mean, we always talk about the teams that just look like they're like thrown together haphazardly, and like old players, young players, like none of it makes any sense. And Lauri Markkanen, hurting his back doesn't help, but you also can't trade him.
Yeah,
and maybe that gives John Collins an opportunity to grow his stock, and maybe he can go find somewhere else to play.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that team is kind of weird, and I would expect them to be major sellers. Jordan Clarkson, a couple other guys there that you could maybe even Colin Sexton that you could move at the deadline to go try to get more draft capital. But that's just kind of a mess.
He's James Ham. I'm Kyle Madsen. I've got a couple of questions for you on these. I have some stock downs that I'm looking at it now, and I don't feel good about them as stock downs. But before we get to that, let's get to our buddy Mitch in New Jersey. Mitch, what's up?
Kyle, James, how you guys doing?
Doing great, Mitch.
All right, beautiful day here.
Oh, yeah.
I know it's full here. You have 1 season, or 2 seasons. I'm sorry. How about I've been hearing about a trade now since springtime. Can we make a trade for a big guy? How about Zion? I mean, I guess he's been on this a bit disappointing for the Pelicans. I don't think his value is very high. I'd love to see him with the Kings. Herb Jones is good too, but he kind of reminds me of Harrison Barnes. It's like he needs an extra cup of coffee or two just to get him going. Everything's so lackadaisical. Everything I know it comes easy, compared to what my athletic ability. But I wish they'd do something like that. And could they put Lyles in the starting lineup and just sit I don't know, just move DeMar to the 2 guard and Keegan, and just have Lyles there so the lineup be a little bigger.
Okay.
And I think that'll improve the bench.
Perfect.
Scoring wise.
Thanks, Mitch. Appreciate the call. No on trading for Zion.
Yeah, I'm just like he's an injury-prone player. Somebody needs to step up and take on that contract, but I don't think the Kings should be that team.
I don't know if the Pelicans want to trade him.
Yeah.
So I think you'd be giving up a lot to get him, and he's just not super reliable.
Yeah, 36.7 this year, 39.5 next year, 42.2 the next year, and $44.9 million during the 2027-28 season. I'm not banking on him being a super valuable player into his late 20s and early 30s.
Like the flashes have been that he was dragging them to a win against the Lakers in the play-in last year before he got hurt. Like I get it when Mitch says, go trade for Zion. It's like, yeah, I get it. Like in theory, totally. But I think what you're giving up, just to let's go to the hypothetical world where the Pelicans call the Kings and say, hey, Zion's available, and the Kings want to make it work. The contracts you'd have to accumulate just to bring him in, I don't think you're making your team better.
Yeah, probably not. And I'd also point out too that if you look at his career and then put it side by side with Larry Johnson's career, who is a big guy like him, who played that physical style. Like, look at what happens to Larry Johnson once he turns 26. He drops to 13 points, 15 points, 12 points, 11 points, 10 points, and at 31, he's out of the league. That's what I kind of look at Zion. It's going to be so difficult for his body to hold up just because he's a huge dude. And so at some point, somebody who plays above the rim like that, who weighs as much as he does, there's only one who's ever survived like that, and it's LeBron.
Yeah.
You know, and you could say
And
maybe
he survived long enough for everyone to ever.
for his kid to play, for his kid to join him on the team. The only other guy that I could say that was that big and physical is Karl Malone, but different style of player. You
Yeah.
know, we're talking about a guy who
Yeah,
is
he's not above the rim.
yeah.
And then Trey Lyles starting. Mitch brought that up. We've talked about that. It's an idea, but I don't foresee them doing that unless like they get into game 6 or 7 of a playoff series and Mike Brown decides, hey, this is the wrinkle that is going to win us this matchup.
Yeah, it's tough because you don't have someone to back up Trey.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that's the problem. I mean, even last year when you had Sasha there, at least you had Sasha there. Like if you needed to put him in the game before he got hurt and missed a bunch of time, at least you had someone else that could back up Trey, but you don't have anything.
Yeah, Isaac Jones is not there.
No, he's not there yet. I mean, I think he's going to be a perfectly fine NBA player, but it's going to take time.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out to Mitch and shout out to the Elk Grove Kia Talk line 916-909-1320, 916-909-1320. Okay, here are the teams that I had in stock down that I now have questions about. I had the Hawks there because I watched the Hawks on opening night and they beat the Nets.
Mm-hmm.
And I went, this is an interesting group of players. Trey Murphy is there. Not Trey Murphy. Dyson Daniels is there.
Yep.
They have Trey Young, who is electric. Trey Young, who shaved his head, by the way. Salute to Trey Young, MVP season loading. My man came home.
He came home, Kyle.
I'm so proud of him. He's not actually all the way home yet, but he's renting.
Okay.
He went with the Clippers, like very, very close shave.
Yeah.
He got where I got the like week before I went, I'm just shaving this all off.
Okay.
This is stupid. Let's just get rid of all of it. Shout out to Trey Young. He came home. But I liked the Hawks collection of players. And now I don't.
Yeah, the injury bug hit them hard.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, who are you? What are you doing?
Yeah, I just don't believe in them anymore.
Yeah.
So it's probably no movement though, because 3 and 5 through 8 games. It's not like I thought they were going to be awesome.
Oh no, this is kind of where I thought that they would be.
Okay, there are no movement team. I'm taking them out. I'm taking them out of stock down. And then the Lakers are the other team. And I say stock down, but that's based on their 4 and 3 through 7. Okay. But they started 3-0.
Mm-hmm.
And everything nationally was JJ Redick's got this team, but look at all the 3-point shots they're taking. Oh my God, look, they don't have to, they're running the offense through Anthony Davis. Look at him. He's a monster. He's averaging 30 and 15. And oh my God, the Lakers. But it turns out LeBron turns 40 in December. And again, it's not like he stinks, but on a night in, night out, game in, game out basis, he's just not going to take over the games as often as he used to. Anthony Davis now dealing with a foot thing. The supporting cast, Gabe Vincent, Dalton Connect, etc., not looking as impactful as it did early in the year. They've lost 3 of their last 4. That's a stock down for me.
Okay. I'm with you. I think that there's going to be a point where Dalton Connect actually gets to play, and they're going to realize that they've got something there. And why he's not already playing a bunch, I don't quite understand. He's appeared in 7 games, but he's only averaging 16 minutes a night. He's been really good for them, and I think he's a player that could easily be like somewhat of a difference maker for them. But you know, he's also a rookie, and that they're just, again, they're waiting for injury guys to return who don't seem like they're ever returning, and then we're always waiting for the other shoe to drop with Anthony Davis.
We'll get to the handoff with Kenny Caraway here in a second. Who got in the chatty house?
Uh-oh.
Somebody got by a fake Twitter account, NBA Sentinel.
Oh no.
Oh, we hate to see it. We hate to see it.
We do have a little bit of news.
Okay.
Kevin Herter was at shoot around and participating, so I think there's a possibility he will play tonight. That's according to our friend Sean Cunningham.
Shout out to Sean Cunningham. Shout out to, I don't want to say the wrong station. Where is he now?
Fox 40.
Fox 40.
Fox 40.
Kenny Caraway in the building. What's up, Kenny?
What's going on, fellas? How you guys doing?
Doing all right.
Kings. You know, the Kings are back in town
Yup.
after the 4-game road trip. It's always good when the Kings are back. Like, one of the things that I realized, I guess maybe when I just got older.
I got?
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Wait, hang on.
Oh, no.
Oh, I got. Oh no! Ah!
What happened? What happened? What did he
Oh,
call?
Kyle.
Did he call a draft day trade like I would, even though it's not draft day?
Bye, everybody.
I don't
Yeah,
even
well-
know what happened. Kyle's leaving the building.
The new insiders, James Ham, KC.
That's
you already
right.
know the vibes.
What's going on, man? How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm excited to see the Kings tonight. I was saying, like, it is.
Stock down, me.
What was it? What happened?
I saw a photo of Trae Young with his head shaved.
Oh.
Oh, it wasn't
It
real?
was fake.
Oh, no.
And it doesn't count for you because I sent it to you.
Damn.
I didn't even just saw
I got bro.
Three sources.
That's tough for me.
You know what I mean? I got to go to.
That's tough.
And
for me.
also, people get mad at NBA Central, but NBA Central, I will defend them because NBA Central changed their name to the Dunk Central because they said, I don't want to be a part of all this nonsense that goes on. We're really trying to do real stuff out
real
here with the NBA.
aggregation.
So we are at Dunk Central. They're not NBA Central. So if you see something that says at NBA Central, that's not those people. It's at Dunk Central. But they couldn't change one of their names. So think like what is it? The screen name? I don't know. The name says NBA Central, but the at name is at Dunk Central.
I see.
Yeah.
I got to know my NBA aggregation
Yeah.
accounts.
And they let it be known. So they
That's
said,
tough
we
for
don't
me.
want
That's a
anything to
tough
do
L.
with this craziness that's going on. We want to be legitimate. So I respect them for that.
Yeah, no doubt. There's ways to do the aggregation game, and there's ways not to.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways,
Yeah. But sorry,
Oh.
Kyle. It's okay.
Dang it, Kyle.
What I was saying though is,
Yeah.
I don't know. I noticed a couple years ago, there, you know, you probably noticed this in the Bay Area a lot. But it's a different energy when the teams are home around the city. It's like, oh, the Kings are back. Kings are back in town. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, and it does feel a type of way when they're out on the road. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I go downtown more and I recognize it, but it's a different energy in the city when the Kings are home. And
Yeah.
they're home.
feels that way.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just because of what we do, but
maybe so.
I'd love to go into just like a random office. I just go to the office downstairs. Like, energy feel different to you?
I don't know.
Energy a little different today?
Out here is tough. Out here is, yeah, I don't
I'm gonna go ask New Aaron. Hey,
We're-
energy different for you?
New
We're,
Aaron.
we're basically in Reno out here.
Oh
I
my
don't know
gosh,
if
they're
they
so
feel it out this way.
unserious.
But downtown, maybe they feel a little different.
I hope so.
The Kings are home.
The Kings, by the way, are in the no movement category. We've been doing NBA stock up and stock down.
Okay.
The Kings, no movement. Kings are about where I thought they'd be.
Yeah, 4-3 after 7.
Yeah, but just I mean 4-3, but they just kind of look how I thought they'd look.
Okay.
They look good. It's imperfect at times, but you kind of expected that through the first few weeks while they're figuring it out with a new ball dominant piece in their offense.
So
getting Kevin Huerter and Trey Lyles integrated back into the rotation after their injuries. I thought it'd be a little slow out the gate, but nothing that moves me off of 51 wins.
So the way that goes is if nothing changed, there is no change. So for instance, the Celtics stock is not up.
Yeah, Celtics no movement.
Okay.
Here's
Makes
my no
sense.
movement
Makes
teams.
sense. Yeah.
Celtics, Heat, Bulls, Raptors, Hornets, Wizards, Rockets, Mavs, Timberwolves, Kings, Grizzlies, Clippers, Spurs, Blazers. They're all about so far what I thought they'd be.
Cavs stock up.
Cavs are stock up. Thunder stock up.
Oh, they're better than you thought.
Yeah.
Okay, so Grizzlies, I'm intrigued by that. The Grizzlies are even Steven. But they've also, like, you have them in no movement.
yeah, they're kind of what they're
I think they are, right? Like
just kind of what I thought they'd be so far.
Yeah, and also I think I want to see. I just want to continue to see the Grizzlies before I decide about who they are.
Yeah.
Because they've had some interesting moments, like Scottie Pippen Jr. You know, he's been in there since Desmond Bain and Marcus Smart have been out.
playing
He's
well.
actually, he's doing fine. Like,
Yeah.
he's doing a good job. So I want to see. They would be no movement for me because I want to see more before I
Mhm.
have a determination on the Grizzlies.
So I've got Cavs up, Thunder up.
Thunder up, hashtag.
Yeah,
Shout out Cole.
Brooklyn, stock up.
Brooklyn, a good team. Well, Brooklyn plays hard.
They're better. Yes, they're better than that.
Yeah, Jordy's doing a great job.
Yep, definitely. My Pistons 3-5.
Pistons are.
Shout out to my
Hey,
Pistons.
Shout out Bickerstaff. He's got them boys playing. I've seen probably way too many Piston games so far,
Mhm.
and every time I see them, like they're not a bad team. Like they got talent. Kay Cunningham looked like the truth, and Bickerstaff got them playing playing like professional
Yeah.
basketball players.
Suns and Warriors, the other teams I'm stock up on.
Yeah, I'm with that. I like
Down
that.
the Knicks.
Whoa.
Oh,
What is their record? They're
3-3.
4? Oh, okay.
I thought they were going to be really good. They're not so far. This is a fluid thing.
Got you. Is it a weekly thing?
Nah, this
Okay.
is a
whenever we decide
Tuesday,
to do it.
and there was no Kings game the previous night
There
thing.
we go.
Bucks, 76ers,
Okay.
Pacers. I thought the Pacers were going to be better.
Mm-hmm.
The Magic with Paolo out.
That's
That's
tough.
stock down.
Yeah, they were playing well.
The Lakers, especially after the 3-0 start,
Mm.
they're now 4-3. I've got the Nuggets, especially after the Aaron Gordon injury. Got the Pelicans, again, injuries, got them bad. And the Jazz. The Jazz are even worse than I thought.
You know what's interesting about the stock down is the Lakers might have gone stock up and stock down before you had a first.
Correct. That's
first
exactly
even,
what happened.
Sheet.
4-3 in a vacuum. I'm like, all right, no movement.
Yeah.
But the way they've done it, they're a little stock down
Yeah.
for me right now. What do you guys got coming up on D'Lo and Casey?
Getting ready for this Kings game, man. It's a big game. My personal 6-game outlook, the Kings to win in here, and they can do a little better than I even asked for. So, big game tonight. Take care of business, and then we talking some football, talking Niners. CMC is back, so a little bit of everything. A little bit of everything.
D'Lo and Casey coming up next. That's James Ham. I'm Kyle Madsen. We're the Insiders, and we are sponsored by Jiffy Lube. We'll be back with you tomorrow at 10 a.m. Until then, drink water and be nice to people.